Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Oladoloko, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. Today promises to be a very interesting one. It's a brand new week, and we're going to be giving you everything out here on sports, politics, entertainment, and everything else in between. Be rest assured today, we're going to be talking about plenty gist. There's a bit of politics here and there. Mr. Wike seems to be the weapon fashioned against the BDP and the people that do not like President Tinubu. It looks like it's a two-way thing. Also there's public holiday. There's public holiday coming. There's also a bit of announcement on that. Some people are having 2 weeks holiday, as the federal government has given everybody 2 days. Some people are extending their own to 2 weeks. Also, sadly, some athletes from the Niger Sports Festival passed. Also, sadly, again, the flooding that happened in Niger State, the death toll seems to be rising at a very astronomical rate. So that and a lot of other things we're going to be talking about today at the bar. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. My name is Oladoloko, and with me in the studio today is Shola Rogers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the bar.
Okay, so we're getting straight into today's gist. And first things first, the federal government has announced Friday, June 6th, and I think June 9th as public holidays for the Eid-el-Kabir holiday. What, at least what we know in this side of the world as NDLEA. So that's the NDLEA holiday. And it's interesting, I'm not sure that it's kind of out of place that those holidays, even schools are basically setting their holidays and midterm holidays around this particular time. So we can say it's fine, yeah. However, Kano State is starting their holiday on Wednesday. Yeah. And they're just starting on Wednesday. It's a 2-week holiday they're taking. And I remember seeing some news earlier today that the UAE, which, is more, we'll say, is pretty much like a Muslim country, and they're one of the people that really observe this holiday nationwide. I would say even more than a country like Nigeria. They're having holidays, actually. They're going on holidays between the 4th and the 8th of June. And that's it. How come Kano State feels that schools have to be closed for 2 weeks? Keep in mind, they are on holiday today. So what they're saying is that this whole week, they're only going to be working for 1 day. And they're not working there. Because, no, I'm just saying, because if they're on holiday, and what's it called? Today's one, we'll say, is kind of justifiable. They're using today to mourn the athletes that passed. We'll get to that. But there's no work today. And Eid-el-Kabir holidays is starting on Wednesday. So what's the plan?
You already had the plan. You even repeated it a couple of times. let me adjust my microphone.
Like, the ram that you want to kill, the ram would have been dead and gone and would have been digested. What exactly is the 2 weeks for? And
Okay. Today is that day. Let me try again.
And we have all those, we have all those things. And my question all the time is, so they're claiming that, there is schools and all that are not going to be, that is not going to affect their calendar. But that's 2 weeks of their mates being in school. And then will now come out every year and say, this particular region didn't do well, or they're not doing as well. Okay. That the region is not doing as well, they're not making sense, is not doing this, is not doing that. And it really actually just it really is just funny because I honestly don't understand why we're spending so much time and I know that yeah, states should be sovereign with some things, but I don't think that it's also right. I know that maybe it's in the constitution, maybe they have those powers, but I do not think that it is right for states to just arbitrarily stop things. Remember, it was Ramadan too that states were just going on break for 1 month and doing as they like. Also in the north, it's not making any sense at the end of the day. Absolutely does not make any sense. We cannot continue like this. You don't. We can't continue like this. We can. It's. We're in 2025, for God's sake. Like, we're literally in 2025.
Okay, I'm sorry about all of those noises that you might have heard. Having some technical issues with the microphone and maybe the cable, or both. And of course, we're just going to have to make do with this background noise that I have. I will try to speak over it. The thing about it is that we can stand here and, of course, postulate or opinionate and speak these things that we think we know. But from where they come from, I think this is the angle that they are looking at it from, that it's about their religion and their culture, a blend of that, and this is where they are. So, from where I stand, personally, I don't I don't think it's nice that you're taking this many holidays during the fasting period. Some states shut down for an entire month. A whole month out of 12. You're gone for a whole month, and now another 2 weeks. So if we look at it, it's not even holiday season. It's not like the kids will be at home completely. Some of them will be in some states, right?
Oh, at this point, yeah, it's for too big.
And that's from education. What about from the angle of business? Because when they do these things, it's the ministry is also shut down. You get. I'm not sure you can manage this noise that I have. I don't know.
I don't know. Try again.
Do I switch? I don't even know.
So basically, it's. I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know. Maybe I don't know the kind of backlash that maybe the federal government is going to get from it, or maybe the National Assembly. But when you talk about constitutional amendment, maybe those are some of the things that you need to. Governors cannot arbitrarily say they're public holidays. I personally feel that public holidays, we know that most public holidays come from the Ministry of Interior, yeah? Okay. They come from the Ministry of Interior. And with that being said, I also know that I'm not sure we have Ministry of Interior in state level. We don't have those things at the state level. So if we don't have it at state level, why does a governor feel the need to, why does a governor have the powers to do those things? That's it. I think that it's disrupting a major part of our economy, of education, of, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Never did. I don't think it ever will. But looks like we're stuck with it.
I really just hope that one day we'll come to the realization that, of course, there is a place for religion and there's a place for governance. And both, while acknowledging people's rights to worship their God or gods, must not infringe on other people's rights also. So you say, oh, what's your business with Kano? Well, I'm just saying generally that not everybody in Kano at this moment wants to go on holiday for 2 weeks. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And we need governors and politicians who will think along global lines. Like, we're trying to catch up with the rest of the world. And, for a state that is so populated, that has all that manpower, just picture the kind of business that, you could be doing with a lot of manpower and land mass and everything that they have there. But, shutting down your economy from time to time is actually something that there has to be a rethink of to be honest. But I get it. Some people will tell you it's their religion, but it wasn't like this with the other governors, especially in that state. I don't think I've ever heard in the last 8 years or so of the other governor. I didn't think he went off 1 month and 2 weeks and all of that.
It is actually getting really ridiculous.
Yeah, again, it's
and it's worse. It's like like you said, is this? It looks like is this administration with a lot of governors. You see all these ridiculous things. And like, seriously, now you people so uneducated.
2 weeks.
What are we doing? Like, what exactly are you doing?
That's a lot, though. 2 weeks is a lot.
That's what I'm saying. In Kano today, there's no work. So, what kind of work do you want to do tomorrow? If you didn't come to work today, there's no. You're coming to work tomorrow, and then you're off till God knows when.
So this week is completely gone, more or less.
Anyway, moving on from that quickly, from the angle of that, it's sad that Niger flood. I think we had talked about it last week, and the death toll was like 25 and all that. Now, sadly, the death toll has risen to over 150. There was a statement from the president asking NEMA and others to speed up rescue operations. They're saying that there's still about 3,000 people displaced. There's still a few people missing that are still unaccounted for, but there are about over 150 people that are passed.
It's a very sad one. I've seen videos and pictures from Niger State, and one of the saddest videos you could ever have watched last week was when, an entire community was cut into two. So there's this large number of people on one side of the bank and another on the other side of the river bank, and there's no way because the bridge had collapsed. And one farmer had actually raised an alarm. One of the online farmers, one of these very great Nigerian guys doing stuff on social media. And I was like, look, expect some kind of hike in food.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
A lot of Nigeria's food supply comes from that axis also. And how it's, and that's why a lot of people have been advocating for, alternative transportation through, the rails. And even here, like, there's nothing wrong with lifting food stuff by
from one
cargo,
side of the country to another.
But our thoughts and prayers are with the families, the people who have lost loved ones. A lot, and the thing about this flood is that whether you got the warning or not, when they actually hit, you don't know.
No, you don't know.
It just becomes something extremely tragic because people get caught in them. It's just very sad. But I won't stop advocating for a creative solution to our flooding issues. I believe that with the level of technology, where you've seen places where they have leveled mountains, to build islands. You have seen where they have reclaimed land to build homes and communities. Why can't we do the same with the rivers? Do you understand? Like, dredge the places where we have to dredge.
I know that.
Channel the waters where we have to channel them. Get storm drains. Build more dams. Let's just get more creative with managing.
I know we need to do a lot more, and that's the truth. However, I also think that in some instances, there is a way that natural disasters make you seem like a fool.
Yeah, in some instances.
Like I said, why I would say that in so-called saner climes, and these things still happen, and thousands of people still die. And they have better infrastructure. They have better, and this is I'm not even trying to use this as an excuse for the state or the federal government of this. I'm just saying, like, you see, and it is like, for example, when it comes to maybe like a state like Lagos State, as much as there are a lot of things that Lagos still needs to do, it's going to be very hard for a state like Lagos to not have to be completely get rid of flooding. Maybe the major flooding, but maybe we will still have flash floods. Why? Sole reason is because they are already below sea level. Do you understand? There's some natural things that are already working against you. But can things be mitigated? Maybe the effect will not be as devastating as it should, as it is. So yes, I think that some of these things really, really need a bit of looking into. We shouldn't always be looking at how to take care of people after they've lost their houses. Let's look for how they don't lose their houses, they don't lose their lives and all that. But also, and it's something that we had said last week, is that this thing is coming down. Take, for example, if anybody that's watched the weather in Lagos over the weekend, it was a lot of heat. All of a sudden, between last night and today, the amount of rain that happened, it seems to be a bit unpredictable. But also, please, we need to clear our gutters. Please stop throwing stuff in the bin. Stop throwing stuff out the window or out the doors. Or it's ridiculous. We can't continue like this. I saw a video where someone had posted the new road that they just built that has not even been completed. People have already turned it to a dumping ground. We can't continue like this. I know we're having a conversation a few days ago, and I said it is high time some people need to start getting deported. You can't. It's not okay for you to move to another state and not have a plan or where to stay. You cannot do that. You can't feel, oh, it's okay to live on the streets. No, it's not okay. If you don't have somewhere concrete to stay, you're going back to where you're coming from. You will. It's not the first time we saw it. A lot of governors did it, and there was a lot of hue and cry. Still, it happened. People should start getting deported. You should if you are caught sleeping on the road, you are going to get deported. It means that you have no business where you are because you don't have where to live. So go back to where you're coming from. It's simple and short. Let's not continue to do this. It's horrible.
Recently, the Lagos State government actually started fixing the channels on Lagos Island. That's Isale proper. Mm-hmm. There's some drainage that's being reconstructed, and the larger body, that's we like to call them canals in Nigeria. There's some channelization that's going on, and while they're doing it, it's causing some kind of flooding. But it also shows you that the instant they're done with it, that particular part of Lagos Island will probably not be flooded if people do not revert to their old ways and everything. So there's all it is for me that I was speaking to some people who were involved in developing some new properties and some new expanse of land. And they're talking about how they're channeling water out, how they're building storm drains and other water, management systems. These are the things that we're talking about, that there's a way, you can, for instance, reclaiming land at Eco Atlantic. That place used to be called Bar Beach when we were young. Yeah. It was Bar Beach. It was a place we all wanted to just go during festive seasons to, daddy, take me to the beach. Should I tell you
one thing? The one weird thing?
Yeah.
Been to a number of beaches in Lagos. Yeah. Never been to Bar Beach. Never went to Bar Beach. At least when there was something called Bar Beach.
And you probably never will.
That's what I'm saying. Like when there was Bar Beach, never.
So I like what you just said there, because so that's what it was, and at some point it was a thing. It was something that.
It was popular. It was popular.
But it also came with its own attendant issues, in the sense that people were now experiencing flooding.
Oh yeah.
That stretch of road housed most of the state liaison offices and residential quarters for governors. That particular stretch had one concentration of states. Like, you wanted to go to your state liaison office, just go down that road, you will find it there. But the flood chased all of them away. Banks, everybody ran away. Today is one of the most expensive real estate, and it's down to
one. I think it's about the most expensive. I think it's moving close to the most expensive. At some point, it's probably supposed to be the most expensive in Africa or some. So yeah, there are ways that people can do things. But just before we leave the issue of weather, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, and I think that a lot of people don't read these things more often. These things would help. I have now forecast that there's going to be thunderstorms and rains between today and Wednesday. And we've already seen that in the early hours of today already. If you are in Lagos, but they're saying that thunderstorms are coming down in Taraba, Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Kebbi, Sokoto, Katsina, Jigawa, and Kano states as well. In the North Central region, they're looking at FCT, Niger State again. Looks like the rain is not stopping in Niger anytime soon. And Nasarawa State. In the southern region, they're saying that early morning rains could be seen in Ondo, Ogun, Edo, Ebonyi, Abia, Cross River, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom State. But rain showers basically will be seen in parts of Oyo State, Ekiti, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Lagos, Edo, Abia, Imo, Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Delta, and Bayelsa State in the later days. So, people please need to be, maybe you, what's the word now, plan accordingly. Hopefully that you would have, at least have umbrellas, that's the least you can do for yourself. Or if you don't have, there are places that get flooded quickly. If you don't have any business there, don't go. It's a lot of rains around that's going to be happening between now and Wednesday. So just wanted to put that out there. Now, let's talk about a bit of gist. First things first, like I said earlier, Mr. Nyesom Wike, who is supposed to be a member of the PDP, but is also former governor of Rivers State and the FCT minister as we speak, he has picked up another enemy. We know it's safe to say that he is the weapon fashioned against PDP. He has said he's not leaving the PDP. It's obvious the man has stuck to his guns, but obviously, at the moment, likes the president. He's one of the president's, is one of the president's praise singers. He has a lot of good things to talk about the president, and he is part of the administration anyway. However, Mr. Nyesom Wike has now picked a fight with his, at this point, predecessor. This is Mr. Amaechi, that is Rotimi Amaechi, and this was because Rotimi Amaechi was, I think, over the weekend, he was about 60, and there was an event where he had a lot of things to say, how he didn't vote for the president in 2023, but there are videos and pictures of talks of where he had said he was going to support the president, but now he has come out to say he did not support the president. One that I think poked the interest of Mr. Nyesom Wike is that he said that he was hungry.
Yeah, he's actually on his way to becoming a meme now on Twitter. That's Rotimi Amaechi himself.
Yeah.
First things first, happy birthday to him. And I've heard a whole lot. I've seen a lot. I've watched his videos. We've seen snippets from that party. Or his, shall we call it a colloquium too, like Tinubu used to organize, you get? Because I think it was the only one I knew then that would usually use his birthday for such gatherings. Mm-hmm. And I think he had about 12 episodes or editions of that.
He's had it for years.
He did that for like 12 years or thereabout. Now, yes, Rotimi Amaechi, there's really nothing new that he has said. You get? Like, reason why I said that is that since he left government, he has been a critic.
Yeah, but I didn't think
he's been saying this, and one of the things that I've noticed that is a recurring theme is the way he more or less tells Nigerians, to act. That you should get up and do something, like more or less instigating people. Go check it. The videos are there.
So what my I won't call it an argument. My own issue a little bit is I think after the primaries, I think I remember him talking about how he was going to, and I think that video has come up again, where he was going to work with the candidate of the APC, his party at that point, I think after President Tinubu won the election, then he started his campaign of not liking the administration of Tinubu. But there's one recurring decimal with him and a lot of people, and I think that it really needs to be studied. It's obvious that the presidency or the president can't say he doesn't know, so it will be, But how come the people in his party, or would I say the major opposition he has, other than the regular opposition, are people that just worked in his party, but they worked under the Buhari administration?
We're talking politics now.
And I have there are few theories here, and I know we had spoken about some of this before. Is it that they all thought that they were so great that they were going to come back? Or are you so selfish and you think that you're the only one that can do the job? And I would say something, whether people agree or not. I think that Rotimi Amaechi was probably one of the very few ministers in the Buhari administration that had something to show for it. I think that you might have said maybe he should have done more, but it was under his administration that the rail system in Nigeria came up, that is still up until today. Yes, the Tinubu administration can be working on it, but you cannot take that away from Rotimi Amaechi, hate him or love him. Yeah? But we see so many of them, and it's almost like as if, and this is what Minister Wike said. Now, this is someone that, if I'm correct, was Speaker in the House in Rivers State. I don't know if he too was local government chairman. I'm not sure.
No, he wasn't.
But I know that he was
started
speaker.
out working with the former governor that was ahead of them,
Odili, yeah. I know he was Speaker of the House. Then he became governor for 8 years. Then after being governor for 8 years, you basically were minister for 2 tenures as well. Almost, if you know that President Buhari did not employ anybody for the first 6 months, so almost 8 years as well. And then I think that is insulting to Nigerians for you to now come and say you are hungry. You cannot be hungry.
You see your hunger.
I'm sure he still collects, even if you claim that okay, you don't steal anything. You don't steal, it's okay. We all know. But you say you don't steal anything, it's okay. Do River State not pay pension for former governors?
You see your hunger.
I'm just asking.
If you are hungry now, and I don't feel hungry, will I now tell you are not hungry?
But
the man
he
said
can
he's
set
hungry.
up a whole, but they didn't do it for him. He didn't do it by himself. But like the person that they bought from for.
It doesn't matter. The bottom line is he's hungry. He said if you are not hungry, he is hungry. He spoke his own truth.
No, I
don't know why people are angry that the man is hungry.
Stop insulting Nigeria's sensibilities.
He
knows the kind of people that he's talking to. And if you, as a grown human being in Nigeria, believe such a human being, minister for 8 years, governor for 8 years, and speaker of the house for 4 years, if you believe such, then there's something wrong with your brains.
Okay, now, again, if a man says he's hungry, are you not supposed to believe him? He said he's hungry. He said if you people are not, he even said he's ashamed. He said that it was stopped when he went to Germany for medical checks. That his passport, caused him problems, and he was stopped because he was carrying.
Is that hunger? But you have money to go to Germany, but you are not hungry.
I'm just trying to tell you the things that he said.
We don't know how much ticket is.
You can react based on what he said, which is what you are doing, which is okay too. You understand? But the man said that he went abroad for medical checks.
It's free.
And his passport
was flagged.
Brought him embarrassment.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to argue with a man that says he's hungry.
But he could go to Germany. Okay, it's food that he did not have, but he had money for tickets. He said,
if you are not hungry, he is hungry.
But he has doctor in Germany.
I don't have a problem with...
And he's paying for hospital bills in Germany. He's paying euro, not Nigeria.
I don't have a problem with Amaechi being hungry or saying he's hungry.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with him even going abroad for medical checks. After all, the president and former president and all the top politicians all do. They are great people. They don't even need to build hospitals in Nigeria anymore. You see, what they need to do now is to create an airline that can take all of us abroad for medical checks. I think it's cheaper that way. Why do you have to build hospitals? Imagine you're governor for 8 years and people expect you to build hospitals. Don't build a hospital. Oh. If you build an hospital that you cannot be treated in, it's not an hospital. So what you need to do, I remember when Fashola told everybody in his cabinet to stay back for treatment. Even he himself stayed back in Lagos for treatment. He didn't go abroad. That means he built an hospital. Okay, so Fashola built hospital. Every other governor in Nigeria and president, please don't build hospitals. Let people go abroad. In fact, let us just go and do deal with all the foreign nations so that once we have headache like this, we can go to Japan and come back. Do you understand? Does it make any sense? A governor of 8 years went to Germany for medical care. It's good now. Keep it up. And when you were governor too, sir, we saw all the farms that you built that created employment for people in your state, especially that metro line that you finished or did not finish, Abi. Okay. So shout out to you, sir. I think you're a great guy and you're doing well. My problem is with politicians that were in government and didn't do anything, and they become critics when they're out of government. The other one, the one in Kwara Okogi, talking about building stadiums online. You are building stadium, but you were there for 8 years. Then you made it into the Senate too. Then you want to build stadium when you are out. We're still waiting for the stadium. He hasn't built it yet. I don't know who stadium. Who built it? One governor that was saying it when they saw the Rwandan stadium. He was now telling the Nigerian guy, the half Nigerian, half Kenyan guy in Canada, that this basketball guru guy that organizes events in Rwanda, that, we need to build something in Nigeria. Oh, guy, you were there for 8 years as governor. You didn't do it. It's not that you're out of government that you want to do it. Is it your money you want to use? Our money that you had access to, did you use it? You did not. You didn't build. What I'm trying to say in essence is that Nigerians wake up, forget sentiments, forget the noise, forget the hue and cry, and look at the facts on ground. Look at the facts on ground. A man chose his birthday to talk about weaponization of poverty. And the reason why he's saying that is that he feels that most people have been downtrodden and beaten down to the point where they have only one choice: to beg for food, beg for this or that. And that the ones who support the government or who seem to see what the government is doing, are poor and they are looking for crumbs from the government. And every time you gaslight Nigerians, ask yourself one question: what exactly did you do when you were in government? Mr. Amaechi, is a formidable politician. But when it comes to brass tacks, when push comes to shove, Nyesom Wike made some very strong points. For instance, Buhari did not get 25% in Rivers State on that when it was contested. The two times that he contested, he didn't. And of course, how can you, a founding father of APC, not be able to deliver, a former governor, to deliver? Again, I'm looking at people like Rotimi Amaechi, and I say to myself, for Amaechi and Yemi Oshibajo, the bulk of them from the south knew that there was this arrangement where it was the north for 2 terms, then the south for another 2 terms. Mm-hmm. And there is no way you are an APC member and there is a Bola Tinubu in your party that you are not afraid that if he comes against you, it will win.
I like to say something, you people say that. So I wonder, what are you people doing? What do you think was going to happen?
In my projections, in my calculations, they saw it.
But they wanted to just try and see,
No, so they tried to stop him.
Okay.
So they did a whole lot of things. And he weathered all those storms, According to someone that played a video, I was watching this, that is Emilocon video. Someone said today is the anniversary of Emilocon.
Oh.
So I watched the video in its entirety again, and I said, apparently, he must have gotten some kind of tip-off that Ogun State were going to go a certain way.
That was why he said what he said.
Look, I have served these people. It's time for them to allow me also. So, but if you look at the showing at the primaries, Rotimi Amaechi even had more votes than Yemi Oshibajo.
Yes, he was.
That tells you how powerful Amaechi was in the APC. You get. And I use the word was because nothing is permanent. Even the Tinubu that we're talking about, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It's politics. Anything can happen in the sense that the people supporting him today can turn.
Yeah, it could be better or worse.
And it could even get worse, and it becomes more powerful than...
That's what I'm saying. It could be better or worse.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I'm
Regardless.
repeating it, you know. So it could go either way, and that's the anything that we're talking about. But in all of this scenario, yeah, I look at them, the coalition, and I say to myself, they are doing it wrong again. Just standing here, you can see it.
You know, we really should be archiving some of this and bring it back. We said so.
You're talking about how, you know, you used your birthday to talk about weaponization of poverty, and at that event, like for instance, the former army chief that came there, Buratai, he spoke well, and he spoke in a way that you see that he wasn't against the coalition. You get, in fact, he was telling them, you know, well done and everything, and all of that. More or less, some of his words were a critique of Tinubu's government. Mm-hmm. So you understand it. I think one of the biggest problems that Bola Tinubu has is that the bulk of the people that worked with Buhari had assumed that they will continue because it was the same party.
But after 8 years of you being minister, are you a thief?
Sorry. If you look at it, other parties might have done it, but they couldn't do it in its entirety. You get? So, but I think they had assumed, a lot of them had assumed that they were going to be in power, but some of them had immediately walked against him, and they couldn't get close to him anymore. Yeah. Festus Keyamo was part of Tinubu's campaign from the jump. From the
jump, yes, he was.
You get? You look at Ajuri Ngelale and a couple of people who were serving in Buhari's government. They were there openly with Tinubu, while the others had formed another group. You look at the people, even majorly from the southwest. Some essays that Buhari had from Ekiti, from Oshun, the ministers from Oshun and the southwest, they had actually formed some kind of caucus. You will see it. It was glaring. You get? And that's why till tomorrow, you never see them support him openly. And behind closed doors, we don't know what they're saying. You get? So he already knows. And this is the funny thing why I feel those things might not affect Tinubu's campaign. They didn't help him before. So not helping him now will not affect him adversely. What might affect him is if other people come on board. Yesterday, another Buhari minister resigned from the APC. And I honestly looked at the letter and I'm like, I don't know you.
I saw the name and I'm like, oh, never heard.
Environment or something.
Never heard.
That's why we didn't hear anything about your ministry too, because nobody knew you. But this is what I'm saying. That's you see that there has to be some kind of arrangement. You see, even the lady that Buhari had nominated that was rejected by the assembly, the one that went back to London after a while, she's joined this coalition. You see her.
So it's a more of, so really it's more about politics. It's not really like
it's politics. Nigeria. It's politics, because if it wasn't politics, you would be saying that those policies are wrong. The same policies are the things that Peter Obi and Atiku said they were going to do. Recently, you look at Ezekwe Sili, and there are videos of her breaking down how subsidies should be removed and what should be done. And this is exactly, the funny thing is, this is exactly what Tinubu has done. But you are still one of the biggest critiques of his, because it's not your person. You get? But I see that at times, some of these people, not mentioning anybody's name now, if they were actually
in the system,
they won't complain. So that's why I keep talking about how, I said it before, but I think they've been listening to us somehow. If you are forming a coalition just to get power, like they've been saying, even at the weekend, they're saying you can take power, you can take power from this man, take power. Yes, you can actually. You can actually take power from him. But what we're talking about is, are we putting Nigeria first? Is it about governance? Is it about Nigeria? Power, or is it just about power?
Yeah. You know? So, Mr. Yeson Wike has now gone back to say that He also said that he likes stepping on people's toes. Obviously, it's obvious that the man likes to just annoy people, really, just annoy people in its entirety. But there's also a part of the video that said that he's gone back to watch videos that his successor Fubara did when there was a lot of talking involved, and he said that he cries because he wonders like what led to this, and how did we get here? Someone that nobody knew, that I literally fed. Of course, Mr. Yenson Wike knows how to make it a thing, but you really can't lie because we're all here at the bar, and it's funny how it was like as if we saw the future. This thing is not making sense. And like I said, I know a lot of people over time in the past few months have really gone to attack Yenson Wike, but we're human beings. We are really human beings. Because he was literally going to wipe out the man's legacy. So can you blame? Yeah, maybe Yenson Wike, and this is not even saying that he did anything, yeah? But the truth is, the man too was probably not just going to look and then just be seeing everything that you're doing and just be looking. You were just decided to rebel against the man like a month into your new administration.
All right. The things that has to happen though, because again, I like to stay on the money. I like to stay on the ball. No matter what happens, this 6 months should lapse, and Fubara should get his chance to go back. And the best time for him to really show the people of Rivers State that he is the man for the job and that he deserves a second term is from the day he is reinstated into office. However, before that day, he should have mended fences with the assembly, because without that assembly, we're going to go back to square one. We're going to go back to square one. So it's important that we have these things and we really clarify that governance should be the uppermost thing on our minds. There's too much politics going on. Although without politics, you can't get power. But the people of Rivers, I'm sure they're suffering for it because governance. And again, now that there's more funds available to the state via the FAAC monthly allocations, more governors are actually delivering the dividends of democracy. Rivers State should not be left behind,
Exactly. Now let's move on and let's talk a bit of sports. And tragedy struck in as Kano athletes that left Ogun State over the weekend were basically on their way back to Kano State, and they had an accident. Sadly, there were 32 people in a bus, and about 22 of them lost their lives. It's so. I have a few issues with it though.
Mm-hmm.
So it was said that they had been on the road since Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
32 people. And this is where this is and I think it's absolute nonsense. Are you saying that the government couldn't pay for flights for 32 people? There's a functional, if I'm correct, there's a functional airport in Ogun State. Now, even if it's not functional, how many minutes would it take you to Lagos and fly them back? These people have been out of station for over a week. They've been involved in all sorts of things. And they were on the bus for about 24 hours. Then more than half of those people now lose their lives. And I know that a lot of states, even the president, everybody's commiserating with the Kano government. And I'm like, nope. There's a lot of donation here and there. Even the Ogun State government, led by the deputy governor, has gone to Kano to commiserate with them and all that. I'm like, but this nonsense could have been avoidable. Where in the world that Kano state government could not pay for flights for 32 people. 32 people.
The problem, first things first, I'd like to commiserate with the people of Kano, especially the families that have lost and have loved and lost their loved ones. I feel for them. I honestly do feel for them. I haven't operated in the Nigerian sports sector for a decade or two or more. I have seen and heard and experienced things that are inhumane, and the administrators really don't care. I like the angle that Dolupo brought about the airport and the flights and stuff.
There's literally an international airport inside Kano.
If you check, there are 36 states, right?
Yeah.
And only 35 can come to Ogun because Ogun is the host nation.
Yeah.
Abuja was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly would you hear that any of them flew. Do you understand?
I am not
defending anything.
No, should I be honest?
I'm establishing facts here.
The only people that I feel that have no business flying: Lagos, Oyo, maybe Osun. Is not far. Yeah, maybe Osun. In fact, I don't know why I'm driving all the way from Ekiti or Ondo all the way to what the hell now? What are we doing? What are we doing to ourselves?
So sports administrators have never really cared about welfare to the point where athletes get flown. Not until a few years ago did the Nigerian Professional League, the Premier League, Nigeria's biggest football league, start flying players. And it's not all year round though. It's not like, because there are 38 games that a team gets to play. Half of those games are away.
Yeah.
Some of them are not so far, but some are far. And not all do they get to fly. You get, you're so bad in the league that people would have to go by bus, not early enough. Let's say you're playing on Saturday and you played your last game on Sunday. Ideally, you should leave on Monday by here to Kano to play your next game, land there, rest, then train for 3-4 days, then play, right?
No, but you're on the road the whole time.
They won't leave, say, Lagos until like maybe Wednesday night or Thursday, so that when they drive all the way, they get to Kano maybe like Friday, and spend only one night in the hotel, play the match, and leave immediately after from the stadium. Speak to the athletes, they will tell you. From the stadium, they are leaving for their home. They are traveling. Go and check. There have been several accidents like this that have also claimed people's lives, footballers and all. I was with a friend who is the chairman of the Sports Writers Association of his state, of the state where he operates. And there was a time when the State Sports Commission came to borrow the bus that belongs to the sports writers for their basketballers to go and play a league match out of the state. That's how bad sports is handled in Nigeria. But we're always talking about medals being won and everybody just gets swayed. But you see, this is it. Now we've lost 22 people. And in a week or two's time, everybody would have moved on.
It's completely, stupidly, so very...
In organizing the sports festival, is there a problem with having a deal with indigenous airlines to say, you know what, be our official airline, sponsor us, and we'll give you X and X and X.
Everybody's commiserating with Kano. I'm like,
and people will fly from different parts of Nigeria on these airlines for less.
Like, why are we having these conversations? Like this, the main conversation
hopefully
is why in the world. This is where the National Sports Commission, they need to be these things.
Hopefully we can kick off from here or kick on from here.
It's ridiculous.
And realize that we can't continue to treat athletes the way we treat them.
People's lives at risk.
They bring joy to you. They bring laurels to you. They bring good tidings to you. And, of course, you treat them like trash. Now, there's even a lot of controversy that the state is offering to give their families 1 million naira each. And people are like, it's small. Some people are like, so you had 1 million. Why didn't you give them that money?
How much is plane?
To fly?
So you had extra 1 million.
I'm sure a return flight would have been less than 400K less than 500k max. You get
max
return. Yeah.
Maybe 300k per person.
Return.
Yes.
I'm just saying 500. If it's 500,
but you had one. Now you have 1 million naira per person to dole out. Make it make sense.
So these are the things that, because immediately we feel we can throw money at these problems and make them go away, and all of that. But we need to stop. We actually need to stop treating athletes the way we do.
We do.
We need to stop.
Anyway, Dangote has now announced, saying that one of the major reasons why there's still a lot of movement of petrol out of Nigeria, more like there's still a lot of things, and then the market, is that Nigeria's fuel, even as is unsubsidized as it is now, is still about 55% below the price in most neighboring African countries.
I totally agree with him. I also know that being a businessman, he would have those, that data, all of that information. He will have it at his fingertips and all of that. Like we said here a few months ago, when we started saying the reality of the refinery, I think it's even better that he does the supplies to those African countries.
Yeah.
If he's the one doing it, it will reduce smuggling. You get, because again, fuel that is still allocated to different parts of Nigeria is probably what is being diverted to some of these countries, because at 55% less, that means they can make 55% more. So why wouldn't they take fuel that's supposed to go to Potiskum or Damaturu and take it to somewhere across the border?
Exactly. Interesting news. Anyway,
but shout out to Aliko Dangote, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so just I don't know if we'll call it interesting news, but this year, Mecca has announced that this year's Hajj message, that they're going to be translating it, and it's going to be going live in 34 other languages, so a lot more people can watch it as it's going on. But in that list has 3 Nigerian languages.
Yeah.
On that list, there is Yoruba, there is Hausa, and there is Fulani.
The funny thing is, you're almost tempted to say, what's the difference between Hausa and Fulani? Of course, there is a difference. But the thing is that virtually every Fulani person speaks Hausa.
Yeah.
Virtually every. But it's good that the Holy Land has deemed it fit to have these Nigerian languages on. The world is becoming a global village more. It is
becoming a global village. You know how, for one, these languages even generally are not even just peculiar to just Nigeria.
No, they're not.
They're not. So
Yoruba across borders, Hausa across borders.
So it's really interesting. Even the another major language in Nigeria, Igbo, is actually this day. I think I was reading it somewhere that they're actually Ghanaian Igbos. So it's a lot of Nigerian languages that are just not peculiar to Nigeria. So it's very, very interesting. Anyway, the Hajj pilgrims have now said that they're going to be really, really strict this year, and they've stopped about 269,000 individuals without necessary permits to come in because of the history. Remember the number of people that died last year, and they're still looking like there's going to be some major hits this year again. But I know that they had announced before that if you do not have specific Hajj permits and visas, you are not going to be allowed.
Yeah, because some people have visa for visiting and they now want to go for Hajj, and they have a capacity that they can take. They have a plan, but you go there because you have so I'm glad that they are being strict.
Yeah. They're saying that this overcrowding really affects a lot of...
I think arguably is one of the biggest convergence of people from different parts of the world on one particular location.
One day, yeah. So it
needs serious management.
It does. Now, moving on from that quickly, Mexico has officially become the first country to elect all its judges. So now they're saying that judges are not just going to be picked anymore, like the way it's done all over the world. You're going to be elected.
Let's see how it works for them, though.
But really and truly, doesn't it make more sense? Because I'm just saying, because they say, okay, the judiciary is supposed to be independent. However, it's the government of the day that picks the judiciary.
Okay.
So
I'm not enthusiastic about voting for judges. If you meet the masters of the long game, you will understand why. But I'm not very enthusiastic about it.
Okay. Anyway, Nigeria and Cameroon friendlies, the ones with the Super Falcons, it's official that their games are now on Tuesday. There's been a lot of movement.
Yeah, it will be only one game now.
Yeah, there's been
the
a lot of...
Cameroonians could not arrive on time. They had logistic problems. So the game on Saturday did not hold. The second game, they wanted to shift it to Sunday so that there would be one game. But CAF said no, so they have to stick to the Tuesday plan.
Yeah, they had to do that. Sadly, even though PSG and Paris were celebrating their first ever Champions League win, two people still ended up dying. About 500 and something people were still arrested. Yeah,
I saw videos of cars being burnt, all sorts of things happening in celebration. And
I'm wondering, like, what's the plan?
And maybe that's why you guys didn't win it all these years, because now you want it. You're destroying yourselves. You're killing and attacking each other.
What's the journalists that make it make sense? What was the idea behind it anyway? But they just want to play out there. It looks like there's no football. Football is not happening anytime soon. But there's a lot of
transfers. There's a lot of football that the nations are playing. And of course, there are other leagues that are still being played. A lot of friendly games being played.
A lot of leagues are kind of like done.
National leagues and some international leagues. The MLS is still being played, and in Argentina, football is still being played. I think Brazil too is still in season. South America, majorly. There's football here and there for those of us who watch everything and anything. And again, beyond that, the nations are playing themselves. Nigeria is playing Russia on Friday also. Russia has not played football in a while, and they're looking for a tough country. Nigeria is playing them. Since they are banned from playing some international games. But Nigeria is playing
I like this. So Nigeria is on a high right now. They're doing really well. Anyway, on that note, that is all we have to take today on The Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.